Here's everything you missed in the Black Widow trailer. Well, folks, it's about damn time. After over a decade and nearly 24 Marvel Cinematic Universe adventures later, Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, is finally getting her own standalone film. Look, it's no secret that many fans consider this movie to be too little too late, despite the fact that Black Widow was among the first of the Marvel comic superheroes introduced into the MCU, and that a solo spy thriller based on her seems like an obvious choice. She was still beaten to the punch to be the first modern female-fronted superhero film with Wonder Woman over at DC, and even with Captain Marvel at her own studio. Now that all said, of course we're still excited to see it because, come on, you see that trailer? It looks awesome. But wait a minute, some of you might be saying in your weird little voice, didn't Natasha die in Avengers Endgame after playing the world's worst game of tag with Hawkeye? Yeah, she did. Don't worry about it though, because thanks to our colleague over at Nerdist.com, Andrea Towers, we have a comprehensive breakdown of this new teaser, and we're going to point out every detail you may have missed or not known about this Black Widow movie and what it all means for the larger context of the MCU. Don't you feel better? I do. Now, first of all, when does this movie take place? Well, it's basically in the time between 2016's Captain America Civil War and 2018's Avengers Infinity War. This film's gonna bridge the gap between those two movies after the Avengers broke up on a German tarmac and ostensibly end some point before Natasha rejoins Cap as one of his secret Avengers. Marvel's head honcho Kevin Feige is described as being similar to how Better Call Saul is both a prequel and a sequel to Breaking Bad. Except less meth. And side note, if you're not watching Better Call Saul, rectify that because it's incredible. Similarly, I'm told Rectify is pretty great. But previously on this episode, the teaser opens with a shot of Budapest, a city frequently mentioned by many characters in the MCU, which ties directly back to Black Widow's mysterious past, as well as a relationship with Clint Barton. We get Natasha looking quite harried as we see flashbacks from previous Marvel movies of her training in the Red Room, along with her friends/colleagues Clint Barton and Nick Fury. This is capped off with a speech from Avengers Endgame when she describes that she used to have nothing before working for the Avengers. It appears that Natasha is on the run, hiding out or searching for something, which makes sense after she ghosted the government following Civil War. Pay your taxes. Speaking of the government, I know, right? Thunderbolt Ross himself is back and quite possibly leading the search for Natasha after she drops off the grid. However, it's also looking like he's either been digitally de-aged or found one incredible moisturizer. What's your secret? Could this just be an excuse to bring him back to his 2016 looks, or will parts of this movie take place further in the past than we initially thought? With Ross being involved, you can never be quite sure. He's a slippery fella. There's a post-credit scene where he just greases himself up, does a big old slip. That's gonna happen, trust me. Next, we see her rifle through her various aliases before seeking out her erstwhile sister and fellow Red Room-trained assassin Yelena Belova. They don't exactly get along at the beginning, and it seems like they're pretty evenly matched with their techniques. The old gun swap. Natasha tells Yelena that she's back for some unfinished business, and the two must come to some sort of an agreement because we see them ride off on a motorcycle together, unless this is like an elaborate Weekend at Bernie's situation where she's just propping up Yelena. Oh, everything's fine. Yeah, pretty good. She's the only person in this movie with no Russian accent. It's gonna be great. Then we get a shot of Black Widow's new suit in front of a downed helicopter as some SUVs pull up, possibly the ones that we saw with Thunderbolt Ross. Now, could this be the aftermath of the intense freefall that we see later in the trailer? Probably. We have to assume that she survives that skydive considering she's gotta live here so then she can die in Endgame. Still sucks. Next is a shot of an extremely ominous room with the voiceover. We have to go back to where it all started. It's safe to assume this is most likely a new iteration of the Red Room that trained her. We even see a group of women training in unison a few moments later in the teaser. We're also treated to our first shots of Natasha in her sweet new white suit that seems to take inspiration from the miniseries Black Widow Deadly Origin from 2010. Here we see Natasha infiltrating what appears to be an icy prison containing David Harbour's Alexei Shostakov, aka Red Guardian. And guess what? His suit still fits! So that's where Hopper's been. And as Red Guardian puts it, the family's back together again, with our introduction to Melina Vostokov, also known as Iron Maiden in the comics, played by Rachel Weisz. This character's been described as an assassin who's gone through the Red Room training multiple times. She has like a PhD in f***ing murdering people. Now, we think a key part of this description, as I just emphasized, is the multiple times. There's a lot more going on with her underneath the surface than just being a top-notch killer who could probably break all of our bones with just her pinky finger. We know that in the comics, Iron Maiden was actually an adversary to Black Widow and held a grudge against her, so maybe, just maybe, we're going to see a glimpse of that emerge in this film. Now, it's worth noting that in the shot of Natasha, Yelena, Alexei, and Melina sitting down together, Yelena's wearing a vest that is strikingly similar to the one that Black Widow wears in Infinity War. Now, we hope this just means that Natasha liked the vest and bought her own on Amazon or something, instead of it meaning that things are going to turn out very, very poorly for Yelena. In this teaser, we also get our first glimpse at someone else we've been very keen on seeing, the villain of this whole affair, Taskmaster. We first see old Tasky Boy using a bow and arrow, which is an interesting choice of weapon considering Natasha's close friendship with Hawkeye. In the comics, Taskmaster has photographic reflexes, which basically means he has the power to mimic and instantly replicate the physicality of other heroes, a la Black Widow's martial arts, or Captain America's shield-throwing prowess, or even Hawkeye's bow and arrow skills. Who knows what else he's been watching? Hulk? Seen you eat those tacos? Game over. We're gonna chomp. So does this mean that Taskmaster has some sort of connection to Clint Barton? Well, considering Clint and Natasha's ties to Budapest and secret government missions, yeah, he probably does. We also get a brief scene of Taskmaster as he slugs it out with Red Guardian, which is definitely going to be a killer fight to watch. See? Hopper's really enjoying his time in Russia. He's brushed up on his fisticuffs that we've seen on display in Hawkins, and now he's ready to lay the smackdown on that skull-faced But it looks like the big set piece and one of the most striking things in the teaser of Black Widow is going to be her plummeting through the air, dodging flaming wreckage while she's being shot at by armed goons. As we mentioned earlier, we're pretty sure we see her on the ground after all of this, which means she survives the jump somehow. Plus the whole fact that we know she survives this movie to later die in Endgame thing. But damn if it isn't gonna be awesome. All in all, we're very on board for what we've seen so far. There's great fight, and hopefully we're going to see the emotional payoff that Black Widow so richly deserves. Honestly, it's probably going to be a bit of a tearjerker as we finally say goodbye to one of the MCU's OGs. And all of that's before you factor in that rumored Tony Stark cameo. You're going to cry. However, there's one huge request that we need addressed in this movie. Black Widow's hair. Can we get a long, protracted scene of Black Widow getting her hair cut, then dyed platinum blonde like we see her have in Infinity War? You know, maybe just a shot where she's hanging out in a salon, chatting up with the other Avengers. I mean, hell, make it a Disney Plus series. Don't act like you wouldn't watch it. You would.
Can we do that?
Now, we're just gonna have to wait until the film drops in May 2020 to see if any of this actually happens. But in the meantime, tell me, what do you folks think? Are you down for Marvel bringing back more dead heroes for prequels? Is Red Guardian cosplay going to be the new Peter B. Parker in sweatpants or thick Thor at this year's Comic-Con? And seriously, is it just us who wants that hairstylist scene? Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? And if you want to get notified every time we go live with a new show or drop a new video, please feel free to mash that little bell. That way you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world.